Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling a silent killer in the corporate world, how everyday documents so confidently become complete fictions. We're going to be looking at a tool called Briefro. Now, it doesn't just generate text, it structurally engineers verifiable truth. If you've ever presented a deck to a room full of people and realized a little too late that a crucial number was wrong, well, you're going to want to stick around for this one.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the untethered document problem. Second, Briefro's 3 commitments. Third, engineering the truth. Fourth, replacing the hope stack. Fifth, a design of subtraction. And finally, the discipline of deployment. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1, the untethered document problem.
Picture this. Someone pulls a figure from a spreadsheet in March, pastes it into a board deck, and then the spreadsheet just moves on without the deck. That drift, that is the core problem right there. The exact second you paste a dead value into a presentation, your document basically unspools from reality. Or think about a legal clause getting quote-unquote tidied up by a really well-meaning editor, but it quietly changes its entire legal meaning. It looks completely finished, but honestly, it's just a subtle, confident fiction.
Which brings us to Section 2, 3 commitments of Briefro. To fix this untethered data issue, Briefro makes 3 foundational commitments, and these are basically absolute preconditions for actually trusting AI. Number 1, it runs entirely locally on your own hardware. That is absolutely essential for passing those strictly regulated security reviews in finance or law. Number 2, documents are literally bound to real data. If the database updates, the document updates, zero drift. And finally, number 3, it automatically pulls from a locked brand kit, instantly wiping out those endless, painful rounds of visual revisions. Moving right along to Section 3, engineering the truth. You know, in the AI space, absolutely everyone promises their tool doesn't hallucinate. But Briefro actually engineers trust through verifiable mechanics. It is fully audit-ready. What that means is the system cites verifiable sources and physically locks down legal and financial clauses. Sure, the AI can fill in the blanks, but it structurally cannot rewrite regulated wording. And because the experts are completely deterministic, you can flawlessly recreate a document exactly as it was sent out months later. No surprises at all. And here's how the developer handles those flashy frontier features. Strategic underselling. They've got this highly anticipated what-if scenario engine, the kind of thing that recalculates dependent numbers when you change an assumption. But right now, it's just sitting on an unmerged branch. Why? Because of a known labeling bug. They're building trust by showing you exactly what is finished and very openly admitting what isn't. Okay, Section 4, replacing the hope stack. Think about how a lot of us work right now. Most of us rely on what's affectionately known as the hope stack. We manually stitch together a slide tool, a spreadsheet, a brand guide, and some cloud AI subscription, just crossing our fingers that all the numbers match up at the end. Briefro replaces all that fragility with a unified, deterministic assembly. Basically, you provide the judgment and the messaging, and the software securely and accurately handles the execution. It's a real game changer. Now for Section 5, a design of subtraction. So Briefro deliberately had no public website at all until the core app was actually functional. And when they finally built it, they completely abandoned that generic AI aesthetic. You know, the one, purple on white gradients, sparkly magic wands, standard fonts. Instead, they built an instrument-grade canvas. We're talking dark charcoal, asymmetric data panels, terminal textures. The site looks exactly like what it sells. Highly precise, locally owned, and strictly engineered. Now, the number 0 is perhaps the most impressive figure in this whole explainer. The website makes literally 0 third-party requests. Loading web fonts from external networks actually transmits visitor IP addresses, which is a documented legal liability under German compliance laws. So serving bonds locally is this massive privacy decision that takes the product's core philosophy, local execution, and applies it right to its very own front door. And finally, Section 6, the discipline of deployment. Remember that unmerged what-if branch with the bug we talked about earlier? Well, to avoid accidentally sweeping that broken code into production when the website was finally ready, the developer didn't just force a commit. No way. They used an isolated Git work tree built off the main branch, staged only the clean site files, and pushed that. Then, they simply deleted the work tree, leaving the broken feature safely quarantined. It's just absolute hygiene. And even when they had a deployment bug that was sending 0-byte font files over an encrypted channel, the fix wasn't to panic and drop the security shield entirely. Instead, it was a totally surgical adjustment. They kept the TLS encryption on the control channel so logins stayed completely secure, but allowed the public, non-secret font files to travel over a clear text channel. It's problem-solving with absolute clarity. In a final act of radical honesty, the developer doesn't try to hide their mistakes. They openly list their pending items, like an FTP password that was accidentally pasted into a setup transcript that literally now needs rotating. They perfectly illustrate that shipped is definitely not the same word as finished, and they are entirely upfront about that. I really hope this explainer has shown you that for a tool like Briefro, honesty is both the product and the practice. By structurally binding data, locking down legal language, and transparently sharing their very own bugs, they've engineered trust from the ground up. So, it leaves us with this powerful question. How much more could we trust the software we rely on every single day if it was all built and shared exactly this transparently? Thanks so much for joining me today.